So last week I did a bit of a video talking about how AI is making massive changes to the way people are searching and getting information. Well, this video is all about the proof that for a service-based business, you can get leads out of it. In the screenshot you can see here, this is one of my clients looking themselves up. So after my video last week, they decided to go do a bit of their own searching and they look for generic terms. They didn't look for their brand name, they just looked for the things that they did and the things they sold. And they were really happy to see that they were getting multiple listings across multiple searches. And so, why is this the case, or is it real? Well, let me show you. So not only did they look themselves up to see, where they show up and what they came up for, but they actually had a client, one of their clients, who was inquiring about their services, specifically say they found them through AI search. So, in other words, they could see themselves online using AI tools, and they've obviously got proof positive through somebody that actually called through. But is that enough? Can you find out even more? Well, the answer is yes, and I'm going to show you how, because this is something that I've done for all of my clients to give them the visibility to what they are getting from AI. So behind all the websites that I've built for my clients, we've obviously integrated a lot of data tracking using Google Analytics. And across the industry, some people will say it's not 100% accurate and it gives you false information and all sorts of different things. But at the end of the day, it's one of the main sources of information that you can get to understand what's actually happening in terms of the traffic and where it's coming from on your website. So what I actually created for all my clients is a dashboard that specifically looks at AI traffic in relation to all traffic. So on the right-hand side, in this example, you can see there's been growth over the last few months of the amount of visits coming from AI visitors. But most importantly, you can see here, out of nearly 150 odd people that have come through from AI, about 50 have inquired. So that's nearly 1 in 3. So what it means is the information that they're finding on AI tools is enough for them to want to find out more. And then obviously the information that is on the website that's quite detailed gives them the confidence to inquire. So it creates a really good high quality lead that hopefully is already pretty well educated and convinced that that service can deliver what they're talking about. And it means it puts them in good stead as all these changes start to permeate, because they're getting leads in another way. It's not necessarily organic search from Google in terms of the blue links, but it's organic search nonetheless, because people are using lots of different AI tools to get information these days. And so, how is it possible? Okay, let me explain. So, for most of my clients, the work that we've done has probably spanned 18 months, 2 years, three, or even more in some cases. And so, a lot of the websites have more than 100 pages of content. They've been ranking on Google for a long time. We've written lots of articles that are quite deep, lots of articles about jobs they've completed, problems they've solved, industry issues, lots of deep and meaningful content that helps people. And so by having that information on the websites, not only does it help them rank online for different phrases other than their brand name, it also means that when somebody does arrive and they start looking at all the information, they may not read every single word, but it helps convince them that the business is legitimate, they know what they're talking about, and they're able to deliver on the service or the problem solving situation that they need help with. And so, what AI is doing these days is looking for that sort of information to then serve it in the windows when somebody's searching for something. So, the number one priority is to be really clear about who your customer is. And that sounds, a little bit strange saying that, but it means that you've got to be really clear about who you help. You can't obviously help every single person that exists, but the clearer you are, the better, because it means the information that goes on your website will then satisfy that type of person. The information has to be high quality, and this has not changed in the last 10 years, but these days it's becoming more and more important because AI can interpret the difference between a generic paragraph and something that's deep and meaningful that is a couple of pages long and explains something in depth. The third one is a strong identity, and that means the AI tools need to understand who you are, what your company's about, what your credentials are. Do you have good reviews? And are you in lots of different places across the internet that all say the same thing? So whether that's social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, your own website, other companies are referring to you, it needs to understand who your identity is. If it doesn't, then it just sees you as another generic website or the internet rather than someone that's an expert in your niche. The last one is content that's specific, helpful, or very niche. It's going to be one of those three things. And the reason for that is if it's quite in depth on a particular topic or type of service or type of location, if you're a travel agent, or um, type of renovation project that you specialize in that's a little bit different to everybody else. If that information is very clear and there's a lot of it on your website, you will have a better chance of getting found for it. It's as simple as that. So all of those things combined together, really, really good website execution leads to results. And I'm not talking about 3 or 4 pages on a website. I'm talking about potentially 20, 30, 40, 50, where you're creating this really strong framework that presents you as an expert in what you do. And it helps in a couple of ways. As I said before, you get found. If you run ads to that page, people will probably more likely trust what you do because they can see lots of information. And lastly, for any visitor from any source of traffic, it builds trust because you're not just making all these promises about how good you are, you're actually then demonstrating it through examples of your work. And that's how it can work. And so already, my clients are seeing good results come out of their AI results, that, as you can see before from the chart that I demonstrated with. There's another, I don't know, 10 or 15 examples of that as well, where very clearly you can see there's a really high percentage of people that are converting into a lead. So I've got happy clients and they're looking for themselves, and obviously they understand that, that's what it's going to take to be successful.